This is a quick 5-minute video just to show you my take on the Bandsaw circle cutting jig. Pretty similar to a lot of others that you've seen. Has a different feature that I think maybe some of you will like. I'd like to first of all acknowledge that the basic design of this was inspired by Woodsmith. There's a link here, you can see how they built it. This is not going to be a build video. It's a pretty simple bandsaw jig. I think any woodworker can figure out how to build this, but here's the basics. It's 3/4 inch plywood top. The centering board is cut into 2 segments right at the position of the bandsaw blade, so that I've got 2 different options, the nail or the centering dowel. The bottom is a 1/4 inch MDF, and this, you can see the profile here, and this is how the centering board slides in and out. I did route a little thumb hole at the end of each piece to make it a little easier to move. So you start by the board that you want to cut a circle out of. You just mark the center. I'm only going to show you this, of course, for the first one, which is the hole list, the no hole centering jig. So you take the board that has the dowel for centering, and I just store the little dowel piece in the centering board itself, which slides there into the little dovetail area. That little dowel is reusable until it gets chewed up, and then of course just cut off another piece of 3/4 inch dowel and start again. But once you've got your center point marked on your board, a little bit of CA glue. I used an accelerator. You don't have to, of course, but just to make it stick on there a little bit faster. Of course, throw your CA glue around so that it spills everywhere, but a little bit of accelerator, stick this dowel segment right there in the center where you've already marked it. I'm not going to show you how to mark again. I already did that, so the second part of this video will be the using the kind of the traditional nail version for centering. But in this one, I just took that dowel, put it right back, as it's glued to the bottom of the board, stuck it into that centering board again, the same place where I popped the dowel out earlier. And there you go. You just put it onto the jig, take it over to your bandsaw, spin it around on that dowel with the dowel as the center, and you get your circle. As you noticed, I've got the 1/2 inch scale, so that whichever part of the centering board you're using, you just set it up for the size that you want, the radius of your circle, and then pop this off. There's that little dowel segment that was in the hole on the centering board. Let's pull off the tape. Sometimes easier said than done. You don't use a whole lot of CA glue because then you get this problem, but then eventually you pop it off. You've got a circle with no hole drilled in the middle, and then you just get the tape off of that dowel, reuse it if it's reusable. I just pop it back into that centering board for safekeeping. And then if it gets chewed up, gets too much glue on it, whatever, you just cut off another piece and you're good to go. So this one is the same thing, but I'm using the nail end. This is more of a traditional, I think you've probably seen, this is a pretty common version of the bandsaw centering jig. So I've got a 3/32 inch nail, drilled a 3/32 inch hole in my board, because this was just for demonstration purposes. I'm not actually using this circle for anything, and I actually just wasn't careful and drilled all the way through my board, so you'll see when I pull it up at the end that there's a hole that goes all the way through, but normally you would only drill it as deep as it needs to go for the nail. But that's, it's up to you, whatever you're going to do. This is probably, it's easier. There's no tape and glue and everything, so this is the method I would probably use most often. Most of the things that I would be cutting a circle for, maybe a Lazy Susan or a clock or something like that, it doesn't matter if there's a hole on one side of the board. So you just put it on the nail with that nail the hole centered in the board, and then just like with the dowel piece, you rotate it around that nail, and then you have a hard time getting it off. But there you go, perfect circle. Again, this is I didn't invent this. There are a million different versions, but this is my version. So hope you like it. Hope you found it useful. And let me know in the comments if you have anything to say about it. Thanks.